Islam is a comprehensive religion that encompasses all aspects of human life. Islam also a religion that guides and governs human interaction and action in their daily life, rather than focusing entirely on the personal life of individual. Islamic management method emphasizes that Allah has raised some of you above others in terms of talents, knowledge, competence, and temperament, all of which are critical for effective management. The most important method of Islamic management are straightforward, caring and loving, understanding, cooperation, and solidarity. These are the foundation upon which the Islamic management method tower is built. These models are useful for developing human relationship in the community. One must take note that a human being, be it Muslim or non-Muslim, we all need one another direct or indirectly to live. In other words, we are all designed by Allah to be dependent upon one another. Perhaps the concept, or therefore the purpose of this report, is to take a closer look into elaborating that the application of the mentioned Islamic management methods, which is straightforwardness, caring and loving, understanding, cooperation, and solidarity in our daily life.
The definition of straightforward comes from the word sadid, refers to a person who is straightforward and has the value of istiqamah, which is honesty. As a result, the term of sadid refers to the delivery of all facts in straightforward and honest manner. It contains the element of speaking the truth. Muslims are not permitted to show or create false information available to them in order to please others. Instead, they must be responsible, sincere, truthful, impartial, and accurate in relaying any information, reports, or news that they receive. Ma'ruf is translated as urf, which means known to people. In technical terms, maraf is an invitation to all that is good, enjoining what is right and rejecting what is wrong. In defining the fifth verse of Surah Al-Nisan, Al-Tabari said that the phrase maruf refers to all words that motivate and leads people to all that is demanded and to avoid all that is restricted. This appearance to demonstrate that Muslims are formed as people who are constantly calling people to the right path and doing good and charity and preventing others from doing wrong. Next, the concept of straightforward is important for all the religion, not just for Islamic. Example, Islamic has a pure religion value council to the extent that Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the deen is sincere advice. Thus, Islam has brought up its followers to speak the truth even if it is bad and be straightforward. According to some author, it is been portraying one inner self without manipulation or avoidance in a way that express idea clearly, so that once doing match his or her words. Al-Kalim, written by Muhammad Ahmad Jad al-Malwa, may Allah have mercy on him. Besides that, the theory for straightforward is that the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, never wanders from the straight path and was always honest in his actions, words, and sentiments. He advised companions seeking forgiveness and endless pleasure to declare, I have believed in God, and then be honest. A phrase that shortly summarizes all key parts of belief and behavior. The application or practically of straightforward is means to hold to something or to act truthfully in a certain way. Prophet Muhammad, known as Peace Be Upon Me, said that I am capable to convey so much meaning in few words. This is a miracle of speech. We are told how it is possible, and only a Prophet is capable of doing so, because a Prophet knows exactly how to convey the thoughts, feelings, meaning, and ideas that he wished to convey, as well as which words used to do it properly. Example: belief, we are told to engage in two activities, such as activity of belief and activity of action. Fulfilling duties towards Allah, the factor of straightforward refers to a person's moral uprightness. To someone who faithfully fulfills their duties to Allah, consistency is the path to goodness, can begin with little beginnings, as long as those steps are faithful. As Prophet Muhammad said, as long as we are consistent in what we do, that is what matters. Why? Because consistency leads to a greater chance of success. The straightforward issue of the Islamic State has represented Malaysia public debate, particularly since Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad announced in September 2001 that Malaysia was already an Islamic state. The problem was caused outrage and disagreement that has gone unnoticed by the mainstream media, and it advised of the disconnect between public perception and reality on the ground. The connection of the Islamic State issue with its environment. The condition of Islam in Malaysia is examined in this article. It was also compress one of the key source used, Shafiq Juris Al-Akam Marwadi As-Sultania, to the government's statement defining why its administration qualifies as an Islamic state. The function of straightforward is mainly known as priority, rationality, and practically, are three words that comes to mind while thinking about clarity, rationality, and practically. Islam is a religion that is free of history. Its teachings are straightforward and understandable. It is free of false ideas and superstition. The essential article of its faiths are Allah's oneness, Muhammad's prophethood, are the belief of life after death. They are found on logic and reason. All of Islam's teaching are simple and straightforward, and arise from those fundamental beliefs. There is no religious hierarchies, no abstract concepts, and no elaborate rites and rituals. Everyone is free to approach the Quran directly and put its teaching into reality. Islam develops man's reasoning abilities and encourages him to use them. It encourages him to look at things rationally. Lastly, there are three advantages of straightforward in Islamic perspective, such as it can avoid misunderstanding among people. Second, other people don't have to guess what others are thinking. And third, it helps us build trust among each other.
A very good day everyone, I'm Suchitra KRISHNAMOOTHY and I'm going to continue with another method which is caring and loving. What does mean by caring and loving in Islamic? Caring and loving known as ta'aruf in Islamic. In English translation of ta'aruf, which means an act of knowing each other, and it brings people closer and help build respect for one another. Besides that, ta'aruf has many meanings. It can mean being affectionate towards a person and the affection reciprocated. Ta'aruf is a set of emotions that we experience. Love could also mean belief or behaviors that show your affection towards someone. Love is a feelings that everybody earns, and it makes them feel happy and vital, and it can be for many things such as like family, partners, pets, nature, and even for oneself. Honesty, care, and trust accompany love. As humans, we depend on one another, and though we may be different, everyone wants to be cared and loved. It gives them happiness and makes them feel like they matter. We love and care for many things, and the love we think varies throughout our lives. Then Taruf also helps people familiarize with each other's background, hobby, difficulty, custom, and culture, which could help build mutual understanding among them. Next is the concept. This concept of Taruf leads to a deep and true meaning of brotherhood or hukuwa in Islam. Brotherhood in this context means love, respect, sincerity, sympathy, and mercy for those who share the Islamic belief. The foundation of this brotherhood is not a mere relationship joined by blood or race, but formed with the rope of Aqidah, and brotherhood is a spirit of friendship and respect to each other among Muslims. It is also regarded with good in giving order and communication with the easy message to understand and clear toleration. Next is the theory. According to Islamic documents, there are four major types of caring and loving. First is God taking care of humans. Second, humans taking care of themselves. And third, other humans taking care of other humans. Fourth, the universe taking care of humans and vice versa. God has put everything in the heavens and the earth in the service of mankind. God caring for humans affect the three other type of caring, and that is under God's authority, and God is the director, protector, and caregiver of the universe. All things are permissible in principle except what is singled out as obligatory, which must be observed, and what is singled out as forbidden, which must be avoided. Eventually, this spiritual procedure provides a strong foundation for the best practice, even in tough times, as it will bind. Next is the application. This principle will educate Muslims to practice the sense of caring and loving in their actions. In addition, reciting these words, the Muslims must also appreciate the concept of God's grace to all beings, which is the gift of love and caring. The nature of caring and loving should be practiced by Muslims in their daily dealings, so that humans can create a society that is united, peaceful, and prosperous. In addition, every human must apply the concept of caring and loving in their managerial tasks to strengthen the spirit of friendship and teamwork. So the next is the issue. Many researchers found that most of young people understand that care and love is a romantic relation between a man and a woman. A confusion and ignorance in understanding what is concept of caring and loving is not only faced by youth, it is also generally impact the world people. Okay, only a few groups understand what is concept of caring and loving in Islam as a whole. It is because the understanding of caring and loving has been regarded in a limited and unknowledgeable. Humans should extract, optimize, and involve these comments in the aid of rationality and find a way of using them so they may be lead to the path of excellence. So the next point is function of caring and loving. People who love and care for their relatives, neighbors, and friends for the purpose of God, the Almighty will give them the best rewards and will grant them complete faith, which is Iman. Islam recommends Muslims for loving people and extending compassionate and sincere relationship. According to Islamic teaching, the minimum expectation from believers is that God should have the first place in their heart. This caring and loving make Muslims less likely to commit sins. Any action that could impact brotherly relation should be avoided, such as slandering, fighting, cheating, and others. Lastly is the advantages of caring and loving. This culture will create positive habits and healthy environment as the people feel appreciated, motivated, and inspired. This culture will avoid finger pointing of blame that sometimes happen as a norm for temporary relief from problem. However, it also can ruin the friendship and teamwork. It will abandon the traditional orientation of management from vertical style to the side-through approach. Within this caring and loving culture, instead of thinking about individual achievement, people tend to think about what their organization had achieved. The word we will be used rather than I. Besides that, for an individual as well as a society, morality is one of the fundamental sources of strength, just as immorality is one of the main causes of decline. While respecting the right of the individual within a broad Islamic framework, Islam is also concerned with the moral health of the society. Thus, this situation can eventually realize a new model from physical orientation to intangible performance, whereby success is measured through the team ability in inspiring the stakeholders, developing networking, building friendship, and attract as well as treating to its most valuable and critical asset, which is people. That's all from me. Thank you.
The definition of understanding is a psychological process involving abstract or physical items such as person, situation, or message. Understanding is a relationship that exists between a knower and an object of understanding. Understanding also involves the availability of talents and dispositions towards a body of knowledge that are sufficient to support intelligent behavior. The word tafahum also means understanding, comes from Arabic language, which means to understand each other, to know each other in depth, the condition of others. The concept of tafahum refers to the habit of mutual understanding or about something which originates from unity of thought. When everybody in a group understands their goal, objective, and duties, they can generate ideas and will achieve the ideas. In Islam, the central element in mutual understanding must be based on the religion or a core, the core of which is of course belief in Allah, or the other words is iman, based on Surah Al-Imran. Thus, Sayyid Qutb said that there are two fundamental bases which Muslims must build their life on and set out their social system, iman, which is iman and brotherhood. If any of them collapse, the whole community will also collapse. This brotherhood in the cause of Allah SWT alone can genuinely unite the hearts of men, stimulate them high above the tribal animosities and various racial distinctions, and will collectively place them under the banner of Allah. The theory of understanding or tafahum focus on two major human organs, which are the mind and the heart. Humans' minds and hearts can only be connected if they are humble themselves to Allah, based on Surah Al-Anfal. All media attempts to target our mind and heart, since they are the conductors for knowledge and information. As Allah reminds us in Surah Al-Anfal, please ensure that all of this knowledge and information causes us to fear Allah. The application of practically in understanding is when we give others a piece of our heart rather than a piece of our brains. Our days are gonna be brighter. This quote shows how empathy and understanding may offer us happiness while also providing comfort to others. This cycle of happiness and comfort can also help to prevent and solve many societal problems. Next, we have to consider learning to understand others as a strength, not as a weakness. Next, the function of understanding is allows us to perceive and understand situations from a variety of perspectives as social beings. In this way, it supports the process that lead to empathy and the value systems that people possess. However, just because understanding other people is a remarkable skill does not mean it is a simple goal. To communicate effectively also is a reason why we must recognize that we all perceive the world differently and to apply this understanding to guide our interaction with others. So, tafahum or understanding has a huge positive impact on daily life, especially on the socialization of Muslims among others. First, the advantage of understanding is it allows you to see things from a different perspective. If you choose the correct perspective, life can be much more lovely than you can think. People we have seen have a tendency to focus on the negative rather than positive. Even we have problems with this from time to time, right? So that is why we are aware of which perspectives are more beneficial to people. Next, the advantage is it can reduce and overcome the emergence of openness and able to exchange experience and knowledge. Third, can give birth to harmony between each other, especially teenagers, so that there is no social gap, and the harmony between fellow Muslim and other religions are realized as a means to build unity and unity of the nation. It also can be used as a means of disseminating information so that job opportunities are open.
Next is cooperation. Cooperation or ta'awun in Islam, according to Al-Quran, is help one another in righteous way and piety, but do not cooperate with another in sin and aggression. And fear Allah, indeed Allah is severe in penalty. It explaining that the second verse of Surah Al-Ma'idah was about the command of Allah SWT order to provide any kind of help in terms of virtue and kindness. Cooperation is not a choice in Islam. It is a necessary and a duty, especially in the time of crisis. It means a practice that needs to be practiced in everyday life. Next, the concept of ta'awun according to Allah SWT will. Every action we take begins with a set of goals. The only thing there is done when there are no intentions is just a waste of time because it serves no purpose. For Muslims, doing a practice or worship must be only for the sake of Allah SWT. The goal to give any support in applying the notion of ta'awun is because Allah is not a show of attitude. Thus, every good action begins with a good beginning. It is also done with necessity of Allah SWT and does not expect praise from humans. The earned praise will make us more arrogant, as we will believe that all we do is because of our own way rather than Allah SWT support. The ultimate goal is to assist in situations that are beneficial to the greater good. Every good deed is rewarded for him, and every bad deed is rewarded through his actions. Help the good not just to gain Allah SWT pleasure, but also to increase taqwa in oneself and relieve the burden of those who truly need it. The theory in Islamic cooperation is people are not simply members, but they are brothers to each other. Cooperate with one another for the purpose. Islam prescribes as a general principle of utmost importance and universal application. This means that a person who conducts a good and holy job has the right to expect support and active help from Muslims, regardless of whether he or she lives at the north or the southeast. Plus, even though the person does not have kinship with Muslims, Muslims will be his companions and supporters if he does actions of goodness and righteousness. Muslims will be a powerful and united structure if they achieve this cooperation. All of this shows how important it is for them to work together and encourage each other. Next, the application or practicality of cooperation is the well-to-do class are obligated by Islam to pay them a certain share of their wealth and income. Every well-to-do person has a social responsibility to look for the poor so that they do not starve to death. To put it another way, Islamic society is built on the idea of cooperation for the common good. The cooperation issue is Malaysian activist in Gaza, Nadir Al-Nouri, recently revealed that prior to Siti Sarah's passing, she donated a cow valued thousands of ringgit for Palestinians during Idul Adha. She also keeps in touch with him and would often ask about the situation of our brothers in Palestine. Not only that, Sarah tried to donate a hefty amount of money to a former journalist of Utusan Melayu, Rosli Mamah, after finding out that the publication shut down its door in 2019. The function in cooperation is it promotes individual Muslims' social relationships, how people come together for worship without discriminating between the rich and the poor, master and servant. It surely generates friendship and affection among individuals, as well as a better understanding of one another. As a result, a cooperative society emerged in order to benefit society as a whole by participating in achieving specific goals, to confer with others before making a decision, and then to put trust on Allah after making that decision. Allah also said in the second section of ayat in the Quran, when you have taken a decision, put your trust in God, for God loves those who put their trust in Him. That He likes people who place their trust in Him. It's a simple method to calm ourselves down after making a difficult decision. Lastly, the advantages of Islamic cooperation movement is a powerful force in unifying millions of Muslims living in various Islamic countries. Muslims see a new era of peace ushered in by human collaboration on a worldwide scale. The Islamic social philosophy of collaboration for peace and unity has deep roots in the hearts and minds of ordinary Muslims. It is because Muslim cooperation has survived with the promise of a good future for all. Aside from that, all members of society, regardless of color or gender, receive benefits. Everyone is equal in the sight of Allah, and no one is superior to another because of their skin color, ethnicity, and religion. Members gains from the society's activities urge others to join hands in communal endeavors for mutual benefits.
Hi, my name is KAUSALYAA. I will explain about solidarity that apply in Islamic management method. The definition for solidarity is unity or agreement of feeling or action, especially among individuals with a common interest and mutual support within a group. Synonym for the word solidarity is unity, agreement, and harmony. As you can see on the slide, the concept of solidarity in Islamic management method is an awareness of shared interests, objectives, standards, and sympathies, creating a psychological sense of unity of groups while managing a group of people, an organization, or even a nation. An example of solidarity is a protest with a clear goal. In Islamic management studies, solidarity in management refers to encompasses the factual level of people finding common ground with respect to the management and organization goals, and increasing importance in situations which people work in teams and enjoy considerable autonomy, and in which leaders expect team members to show teamwork, voluntary participation, willingness to cooperate, and mutual informal control in order to keep the processes running. The solidaristic behavior from leaders and the followers expects solidaristic behavior from the leaders in terms of granting autonomy attitude towards mistakes and also leadership style. There are three important approaches in theories of solidarity. These great principles are assured a lot in Islam and also at all levels. First of all, mutual cooperation and understanding. As you can see on the slide, it is stated that God has created us from a single pair of male and a female and made us into nations and tribes. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you, and God has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. Secondly, brotherhood among the faithful. God assures another kind of brotherhood which is based on faith, meaning the believers are but a single brotherhood. So, make peace and reconciliation between you two, contending brothers, and fear Allah. Third, mutual support. The Prophet Muhammad Nabi has quoted, "The believers in their mutual kindness, compassion, sympathy are just like one body. When one of the limbs is afflicted, the whole body responds to it with wakefulness and fever." Now, I'm going to explain about application of this solidarity. The solidarity applied by people in managing an organization or country will transform it into a successful organization and nation in terms of the economic and social development. With an appropriate application of Islamic management and direction by the leaders, it can make business organizations successful and able to achieve its mission. For an example, Malaysia is widely known as a country which has a multiracial as well as multi-religious society. So, there are complexities in leadership due to the different racial elements, religious beliefs, and language. So, by implementing Islam's solidarity in managing our country, it will make sure we Malaysians can work together and live together peacefully as multiracial country. Issues. In the simplest terms, being in solidarity means to carry another's burden. When it comes to international politics and the interstate system and management, burden sharing brings with it complex issues, subjecting solidarity to few questions, such as, to what extent should a nation or state weigh others' nation or state interests and global welfare? Second, to what extent should states share with others their scarce resources, such as land, water, or security forces, in order to alleviate the suffering of others. The Islamic Sharia enjoins its followers to maintain cooperation, solidarity, and unity of feelings and emotions among them, in addition to their materialistic matters. Therefore, practicing solidarity in managing a nation or organization become like the solid cemented structure whose parts enforce each other. Social solidarity in Islam does not stop at the material benefit, which is one of the main aspects, but all the needs of society, individuals, and groups. Whether these needs are material, moral, or intellectual, and in the wider scope of these concepts, all the teachings of Islam affirm the comprehensive nature of solidarity among Muslims. This is why Muslim community is stranger to individualism, selfishness, and negativism. Social solidarity in Islam is not the concern of only the Muslim belonging to the Muslim nation, but also is the concern of all the humankind with all the religions and beliefs within Islamic society. Last but not least, the strategy of Islamic solidarity helps to prevent the potential for escalation of issues to crises and tensions through the increasing of exchanges between Islamic countries. Solidarity is not a choice in Islam, it's a must. In difficult and hard times that people are facing, solidarity among people is much needed, more than in any other time. Therefore, the best practices of Allah's commands during the bad times are to obey rules and follow the advice from the experts in the organization of field and also the leaders in the nation. So, solidarity helps to solve problems during difficult times in life. And these are the advantages of strategy of Islamic solidarity.
From the result of the study, it can be concluded that the understanding and practice of Islamic management method among Muslim community is important and give massive impact to Muslim daily life. It is because management in human life cannot be taken lightly, since it has taken over the majority of people's life in order to provide adequate managerial skill and utilizing the natural endowment for the promotion and development of humanity, with the goal of bringing about total changes in people's lifestyle. So back to the Islam roots, moderation and consideration are taught in Islam, and all of this must be demonstrated in a faithful person to assess his level of obedience to Allah and His Prophet. Whoever rejects it has done differently, since Allah and His Apostle decreed the act of managing. It has been promised that whoever adheres to what Allah has ordained will be richly rewarded, and whoever transgresses will be well rewarded on the other hand, which is punished. Therefore, in other words, perhaps by instilling such method to the future generation too, will do a really great favor to our mankind in producing a faithful believer of Allah as well as great individual in the community. Thank you.